We received the fever case on March 31st, 2025. Up until that point, we received a case every 6 months from Valve and CS2. Now, we have received skins every 6 months since that point. However, they have been inside of the terminal system, starting with Genesis in September and iterating upon it with the Dead Hand in March. But notably lacking is instances of a case. And the question on most people's minds are, will we ever get a new case? And I think the current state of affairs sort of leans in a more positive direction. Welcome back to Debate. This is a little series where we talk about more speculative things, nothing really real yet, just sort of weighing out possibilities of different theories about the market, about the game, whatever it may be. If you do want to submit a community-made submission, you could do so in the Discord on the video ideas section, or you could scan the QR code and fill out this Google form. I do read them, just takes a while to get through them. Now, a lot of people were disappointed to see the fever case not removed in the armory last rotation, but I think that's probably the best news we could have gotten surrounding the fever case. Yes, I understand while it did hurt your short-term little investment prospect, fantastic. The fact that Valve didn't feel the need to or feel pressured into removing the fever case from the game, which is right now currently the only way in which to actually receive a case purchasable from Valve, that's a very positive fact, and it's a very informative fact, because I think that now maybe the case scrutiny that they've gotten from the EU, from New York, from basically every legislator all around the globe, it's actually overstated and not as important and pressing of an issue as we once thought it was. With it being a year since the fever case was added into the armory and the gallery case was removed 1 year after its initial implementation into the armory when the armory was released in October 2024, a lot of people were speculating fever to be removed, and it certainly wasn't a completely out of the question perspective to take, especially when you factor in that since fever, no new cases have been added, only terminals, which is a complete far cry from the actual case system and how it operates and how it makes money within the game. So it was sort of prematurely priced in that fever would be the last case. Combine that with the fact that the fever is not an unpopular case by any stretch of the imagination. It has a ton of desirable knife finishes, the AWP print stream, which is popular for some fucking reason, that anime Glock, all that shit. People like that case a lot. And it's reflected in its revenue. I believe it's the highest grossing revenue source within the armory, and that is with Sport and Field being 6 months older, Overpass being 6 months older, and double the price. So definitely goes to show just how popular fever is and how much money it commands from the armory alone. Now, is it relatively popular? We don't know. Of course, it's the most popular case in the game right now because it's the only one available. And when it wasn't the only one available, it was pitted against Gallery, which has a wider span of knives, so the community is going to prefer this one, obviously. And when Fever was released, Gallery was already 6 months old. So there wasn't really a true comparison we had for Fever, and there hasn't been a new case in which to compare Fever's performance to when it is not the newest, shiniest one. It was definitely intentionally designed and engineered in this way to completely outperform other cases because the Gallery probably wasn't as much of a smash hit as Valve probably thought it would be, and Fever, being in the armory, just existing there, costing 2 stars, sort of creates a barrier to entry to the other collections in the armory because you're spending 2 stars on the case when you could be spending the 2 stars on 2 stickers or half of a collection redemption if you play another game, etc. And Fever provides the most downstream revenue because A, you're spending 2 stars, right? So you have to buy an armory pass to begin with. Then you have to buy a $2.50 key. So you have a incentive if you're Valve to have the case be very, very strong in terms of its innards, knife collection, etc. So if Valve was receiving no legislative pressure from Europe, from New York, from whoever to get rid of the case, they weren't going to get rid of it. And the fact that they didn't means that maybe it's a little bit overstated. Maybe the terminal wasn't necessarily added just exclusively to curb case regulations. Maybe it's to get the banned countries involved, yes. It also provides a hedge for the future for other countries that ban cases in the future. But with a growing player base and the reality of bot farms and extra liquidity by these bot farms, you have an oversupply issue. And the terminals kind of negate that fact. So it's not necessarily a pure existential threat to cases. The terminal just seems to be a new, smarter way to bring supply in that doesn't oversupply things creates value down the road. And Fever's staying. Fever's continued presence is very interesting, and it opens up a lot of different possibilities. Right? I think this was overstated anyway. I stated this in a previous video at one point. If cases were realistically being ultra pressured to be phased out, I think you would see a very different behavioral pattern from Valve in the way in which the items are dropped currently, right? We still have cases in the active drop pool, right? If they were realistically trying to speed up this process, they would probably remove 2 at a time. Just a thought, no like data backing that, but that would make the most sense. They would have definitely removed Fever, or they would have changed how the case and key system works. Right, there's a ton of different ways in which they can skirt around regulations, which we'll get to in a moment. But I think this just goes to show how terminals sort of capture the banned markets that you have now, right? Germany just got rid of it, but they still have X-ray, so it doesn't really matter. Belgium has them completely banned. The Netherlands got them completely banned, but I think there was a change or something with the dead hand update, if I'm remembering correctly, right? If for every one banned market, there's 30 unbanned markets, you have no incentive to get rid of your cash cow, your fucking insanely profitable system of cases and keys. But the terminals do provide a hedge, which sort of is good enough for right now, right? And even when you have this hedge and you have the players using the terminal system in these banned case countries, they can still go to third-party marketplaces, they can still go on the Steam marketplace and buy those skins outright. You need a supplier, you're gonna open cases here. You're gonna buy from people who are opening cases in other countries. So even the banned countries still provide a way for Valve to profit here, right? They're still making 15% cut of every single Steam transaction. I believe they can still redeem the case in the armory and then sell it, so you can still make money that way. That I'm not completely sure on, but even then, I'm pretty sure they could still handle cases, they just can't open them. And Valve knows that, and why would Valve do anything to get rid of that? I feel like it's a win-win. They have money coming in from the terminal, they have money coming in from Steam transactions, from people that can't purchase keys outright, and you have the normal countries that don't have any problems with the loot box legislation as it is right now. So it looks like a win-win. Just before we continue, a quick word from our sponsor, skins.com. Skins.com is the newest sponsor on our channel. They have just released a P2P trading platform looking to compete with the best players in the space. If you don't want to wait that long, they do have an insta-sell feature on the site in which the rates are the best I've seen, just straight up. When the market is down, everything is on sale. And with the deals you're getting on skins.com, you could start your position basically up 20 to 25%. Try out skins.com and be a part of the future of CS2 skin trading. I will have a code soon, so stay tuned for that. And yes, they're making money from the terminals from these countries in which loot boxes are banned, and they're definitely making money from countries in which loot boxes aren't banned from the terminals as well, due to the new gloves being out. And it does hedge against future gambling regulations, but what else is the point of this? As I was talking about earlier, it seems to be solving a problem of oversupply, right? The CS2 player base is multiples larger than what it was 10 years ago, right? And 10 years ago, it cost $250 to open a key. It still costs $250 to open a key. Inflation, the cases are much cheaper. Instances of skins are much cheaper, but the market cap has gone up. The amount of players has gone up. The amount of money circulating within the economy has gone up. So there's going to be more skins because cases are relatively cheaper than what they were 10 years ago. I think case prices have hedged against this a little bit. They've risen up to reflect case supply, but they're not necessarily tied in to reflect inflation. So you have more case openings, you have a lot of weekly drops being generated because there's more players playing the game. So I think you have this system in which if you don't like the offers you're getting and you're just declining them, closing the terminal, and not oversupplying the weapon with guns people don't want, this is a pure supply and demand-based system, right? That dead hand terminal, I bet you there's 20 times more M4s than those M249s, even if the M4 is a purple and the M249 is a blue, right? The case system sort of works backwards in that way, right? Because in cases, you want lower tier skins to be blues because you want the lower tier stuff to give you little to no return, so you open another case. The terminal is a better way of commanding and sort of guiding prices in that way because the supply circulating of these M249s is going to be way less because not a lot of people are buying them for play skins, they're buying them for trade up, so if you get a good float one, you purchase it, etc. But you're not flooding the supply with M249s. So the terminals provide a more stable price system, less supply, that can't really be screwed with the instances of bots and the extra player base and the relatively cheap cost of keys now. Even the gloves. People get gloves that they don't necessarily want, so they don't redeem them, or they're overpriced compared to the market price, so they don't redeem them. So supply stays decent over time. When this terminal gets discontinued in the future, and that's a whole video for a whole nother day, the gloves aren't going to be very high supply because people are going to forego their glove offers to just buy it off the marketplace themselves. So it helps your optics with the terminal system, right? It shows you're at least moving somewhat away from cases. You solve oversupply. You sort of make bots a little bit less powerful in this way with the terminal system by being in active weekly drops. And while there are armory bots, these ones are subject to ban waves. So having the cases in the armory in the future doesn't seem out of the question. The fact that Fever isn't banned helps that point, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get another case to compete with Fever in time. I hope so, at least. So I think it all hinges on the next army rotation, right? Valve broke their precedent with the 6-month every army rotation with this current one coming up, which I imagine means the content in it might be a little bit different or a lot compared to what it was in October of 2025. And the question is whether we get a case or not. I certainly hope so for my own personal objections. But if we do get a case, I think we're in the clear. I think cases are safe by them being in the armory. They're disconnected from real world money at that point enough in which Valve can put those in there and not worry about any regulatory pressure. I've seen a lot of people in the community talk about buying cases and keys for armory stars, or the keys rather, not the case, which I think makes sense. Although I don't really see the need to even have the keys at that point, right? You have the old legacy ones that you could purchase for stars, I guess. But then you have the new ones, right? Why add Fever cases for 2 stars, right? Just make the Fever case 8 stars and you just open it. If the animation is what's bringing the pressure, get rid of the animation. Just make it an armory collection with no animation and have a knife in there. And then I think you've solved the problem. I don't think, like, they're just so similar. It doesn't make sense to me why the case would not be allowed, but the Train 2025 collection would be allowed. All signs, especially with Fever not being removed, point towards cases still remaining a solid backing of the armory and solid backing of Counter-Strike. Because without cases, what are skins anyway, right? The allure is not in the case animation. Who gives a fuck about that? You'll forget about that in 2 seconds. The allure is what weapon you'll get. What's the flow? Does it have an interesting pattern? That's where it comes from. It has to be random in a way. The terminal has that, but now Valve factors in those things for the pricing, so it's weird. And I think if you have a case cost 8 stars to open in the armory, I think that'll have a pretty low supply, so you'll have to not really worry about it too much, like older cases which were actively dropped and thus farmed. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If they do release one of these cases, I am excited to see what the knife finishes will be. Because knife trade-ups exist now and they didn't exist when the last case Fever was added, is there going to be a Fever 2 case? Do you need another case with the Fever knife finishes? Probably don't now, because you practically increased the knife supply. You made a direct path to get them. If I had to guess, although I do want new knife finishes, I'd probably have to lean towards like the Talon, Stiletto, Navaja knife, getting the Gamma Doppler finishes and whatever other subsequent ones are in that. I think Lore, Freehand. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think a lot of the future of the game hinges on this armory rotation, whether we get a case or not. Because if we don't, I think it'll be pretty pessimistic. If we do, I think where all systems go, cases are here to stay, albeit at a lesser rate in which they were once previously given to us. As always, peace.